industrialist persons, entrepreneurs, heartily welcome. உங்களை அன்புடன் வருக வருக வரவேற்று பெருமை அளிக்கிறது டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் காமர்ஸ் அண்ட் எம்ஜிஆர் யூனிவர்சிட்டி. ஹார்ட்லி வெல்கம். Another one, small one. Is the occasion more than 1,650 participation here the registered and a number of colleges including the topic, the role of artificial intelligence in digital. Professor, so the three papers come from the abroad also. So all the paper presentations also here. So it's a article.
Great minds now an opportunity arises and exact time to say that intelligence having fun. As a new generation would not see the orbit shifting paradigm of technology bring us into a new dawn laced with creativity and science. And that is what the robotic intelligence and automation is all about. Welcome to the new age of science, a new shape of technology, ComCon 3.0. I take this pleasure in welcoming our esteemed guests who with their acumen and panache has proved that they are best in their field and are present here today to tell us and guide us how we as an individual, a community, a society, a state, as a nation, be an inspiration for others and for the generations to come. First of all, I welcome our chief patron, honorable founder and chancellor, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam sir, patron and our honorable president, Dr. Engineer ACS Arun Kumar sir, chancellor, Professor R. Vasagam sir, Vice Chancellor Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, Vice President Dr. M.K. Padmanabhan sir, Rector, Research and Development Dr. V. Vishwanathan sir, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. M. Ravichandran sir, respected Registrar Dr. C.D. Paliniveru sir, and our respected Additional Registrar E&S Dr. D.B. Jabra sir. I also extend my hearty welcome to our department head Dr. C.B. Sendal Kumar sir, Organizing Secretary Dr. S. Meena ma'am, event coordinator and convener Mohanapriya ma'am, and other coordinators, teaching, non-teaching staffs, other department HODs, deans, deputy deans, and other college authorities who are attained here for this conference. Once again, I welcome you all for this international conference. Moving on to the next, I request Assistant Professor Ms. Vanita to give a glimpse on our yearly magazine Arush and also the continuance of the newly launched magazine Dakshin Com Talks.
Pleasant morning to everyone. I would like to start with a quote. When there is unity, there is always victory. Arush is started in the year 2018. It is a magazine that contains literary works, creative work, art, which are completely done by our students. Arush is published once a year. We have international standard book number, that is ISBN. With the active participation of students, we make Arush possible. Our HOD, Dr. C.B. Sendal Kumar, and Arush coordinator, Bindu ma'am, who always encourages the students, and we receive so many creative books. And this year, we are proud to publish our fourth Orush magazine, and we follow three mantras. They are dreamers, thinkers, and doers. As a commerce department, we are proud to inaugurate our first newsletter and magazine, Dakshan Talks. I would like to thank our HOD, Dr. C.B. Sindhu Kumar, for bringing innovative ideas and creating opportunity for the development of students. I'm proud to be a coordinator for newsletters and magazine, Dakshan Talks. It contains articles which are related to commerce, and our HOD has done a great job, and he usually supports us to and motivates us to do further activities. And we have three teams. They are editing team, designing team, and content creators. And usually these are completely done by our students. And content creators are unique, and they give innovative topics, and they made their ideas as an article. Editing team and designing team usually comes under technical team. With the effort of so many students, we started our Dakshan Talks and successfully. Thank you.
கூட யாருன்னு கேட்டம்மா
Next, I call Assistant Professor Ms. Radha to introduce our first guest speaker, Dr. R. Rangarajan.
Good morning, one and all present here. It feels immense place to welcome one of the chief guests, Mr. Rangarajan, to our international webinar conference on role of robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence in business. Thank you for joining schedule, sir. Our chief guest, Mr. Rangarajan, who is professor and head of commerce department in the University of Madras, and also with the additional responsibility as being in charge of College Development Council from March 2021. To talk about his achievements, he has organized 2 days national level seminar on emerging trends in service sectors industries in India, emerging trends in e-commerce. Both were sponsored by UGC. He also organized national seminar level application of statistical tools and techniques for research, and also acted as nodal officers for 1-month orientation program for newly recruited government college. He also received many awards such as Young Management Scientist Award 2012, Best Faculty Award 2013, Best Teacher Award 2013, Rajiv Gandhi Gold Medal Award 2013, Lifetime Achieve Award 2019 from Indian Academic Researchers Association, Tiruchi and Award. List goes on. He was also awarded Doctoral of Letters from University of Madras 2021. He has also published many journals and articles in various conferences. He has also membership for the following: All India Management Association, Indian Commerce Association, Indian Accounting Association, Indian Tourism Congress, Member of Senate, University of Madras, Member of Academic Council, Editorial Board, member in various peer review reference journals, member, chairman of Board of Studies of various institutions, convener in various colleges. So he has also published under the UGC sponsorship on relationship between success factors and human resource management of women entrepreneur in network, marketing industry in the year 2011 to 2013. He has also awarded many PhD and also guided by receiving PhD. He have been in the following position: acted as Dean of Endowment, University of Madras, acted as Professor and Head in charge Center for Infrastructure Management Studies, University of Madras, acted as Coordinator IDE Examination, University of Madras. I'm sure everybody will be inspired this. I would like to thank our beloved HOD and or everyone for this opportunity. I'm sure everybody will be astonished by the achievements you have made, sir. Once again, I thank you for accepting our invitation in spite of your busy schedule. Once again, I welcome you to the program. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Rangarajan sir, you can take over the session.
Yeah, very good morning to one and all. It is my pleasure and honor to be with you on this great occasion of an international webinar on the role of robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence in business. That's ComCon point 3, organized by the Department of Commerce, Dr. MGR Education and Research Institution. First of all, I'd like to thank the respected, most important icon, the founder, chairman, Thiru S. Shanmugam sir. And I'd like to thank the Honorable President of this institution, Engineer Sri A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam Dr. Geeta Lakshmi, respected Registrar, Dr. C.B. Palnimelu, respected Additional Registrar, Dr. T.B. Jebaraj, and my special thanks to Dr. C.B. Sandalkumar, who is head of the Department of Commerce and also the convener and chairperson of this conference. I'm thankful to Ms. Dr. S. Meena, Associate Professor of the Department, organizing secretary of this conference, and Vijay Monapriya and all other faculty members, and especially the Geeta Lakshmi madam, who is doing this mastering ceremony now, who is coordinating the Department of Commerce, and all other faculty members, research scholars, students, my dear colleagues, and especially Dr. Navanithan Kalyapan, Professor, School of International Studies of Malaysia, who is going to speak after me as an academician, and all the other academicians and industrialists, those are going to take part after my events. Of course, with the due respect and with the permission of all the others, as I requested with the head of the department, Dr. C.B. Sandalkumar, kindly permit me after I speak to leave the platform, as I have administrative and other work at the University of Madras. Also, that I would say that I am joining from home, and after that I'll go to the university. That is why I'm requesting all of you to kindly permit me to leave after I complete my part in the inaugural speech. Of course, with this present situation of pandemic, it is the right topic, right time, and appropriate effort. So I congratulate the whole team led by Dr. C.B. Sandalkumar in organizing a very important and correct topic on artificial intelligence, robotic automation, especially to the business. Of course, in the inaugural speech, I'm going to touch upon very light part of it. There are experts who are going to share with you a lot of things in the whole day. And I'm also happy in the afternoon that there will be paper presentation where you will be deliberating extensively on the topic. But I will share some of my thoughts before I go to the other area. In the artificial intelligence, there will be always a question that can you replace a man? That means man includes woman also. That means human. We commonly call as human. Can always replace a human being? Means that's not at all a possible question. That's not at all possible. But everybody knows that without human being, nothing can be carried out. That's why factors of production includes land, labor, capital, and organization. All put together only will perform for the ultimate aim of profit of any organization. Of course, due to the technological improvement, advancement, and various innovation created by different people throughout the world, we have every chance to coexist and get the support of mission, complete mission. Probably when you see a film, sometimes you'll be wondering the graphics, animation, how they work. And nowadays, the government of India also passed a resolution that we should not harm any animals. So all the filmmakers, they started using only animation. You get lion, you get tiger, everything. I do remember my younger days, the very name in which the university is there, the great Purachi Thalaivar MGR. We used to wonder where Purachi Thalaivar used to fight with lion and tiger in those days. I don't know how many of the youngsters can recollect the name of the great legend in which the university is functioning now. Gone are those days. Now people use everything. This artificial intelligence saves time, increases productivity, makes a faster, bigger decision, and it gives insight for innovation. And it can be used in any way. I'll give you some example that Indian companies like ICICI Bank using this AI to reply to their mails, queries of the customers, which you get immediately. Sometimes you can say, you will get in your statement, it is auto-generated, no need for any signature. I used to wonder, and I ask why there is no signature. Means it is auto-generated. That means a person, instead of a person who has to do the job, the machine is doing. That is exactly called artificial intelligence. Similarly, Amazon, Flipkart, so many other organizations have got their own way of approaching this. Especially during this COVID, we are not interested to wait for months or weeks. We want results in days, minutes. That is possible with the artificial intelligence. And this online shopping, mobile banking, I can go on, give you lot of examples like back office, forecasting, documentation, whatnot, everything you get. See, gone are those days where you go and stand in the queue in the bank, wait for everything, including passbook entry. No, machine is doing. Somebody says, go there, place your your passbook, take a printout, and go away. A concept has changed the personal banking to mechanized banking. So, starting from this example to highest level of launching a rocket, including the wars, everywhere it is used with the artificial intelligence. So I can go on, give you the example. Of course, it's a parallel system, as I told you in the beginning. It has to work together. Like you can see, the example of railway reservation. I remember in my younger days, we used to stand in the queue in the early morning. And if you miss one particular form, then you have to come back and write some other form. Now what you do in your cell phone, book the ticket, cancel the ticket, mark this, transfer this, anything for like that. So thanks to all this technological improvement, advancement, artificial intelligence, I can go on, give you example like this. And there are enough speakers to go. With these few words, I'm very happy to be the part of one of the inaugural speakers. There are a lot of inaugural speakers that are going to follow us. One of the inaugural speakers. I'm very, very happy to be with you and to take part of this great event that is that's going on with this MGR Research Institution. And I once again thank each and every one of you for this opportunity, especially to Dr. C.B. Senthilkumar, who is the head of the department of this university, and also Naveen Kumar, who is the research scholar of the Guru Nanak College, who is also there in this platform now, who introduced Dr. C.B. Senthilkumar to me, and they are very happy, and I'm also equally happy to be part of this great event. And I wish the conference every great success, and I wish each and every one of you very, very best in your life. And with these few words, I thank everyone, and I'm very happy. And I would like to conclude by saying that let us all fight together the pandemic and come back with our own strength. Wish you all the success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Professor.
sir.
In this time, Mr. Naveen Kumar is more supportable for arranging the professor. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful inaugural address. As you said, definitely that artificial intelligence has substituted of our life. And it was such an overwhelming inaugural address from your side. I request on the behalf of our Department of Commerce to kindly accept the appreciation certificates. So kindly accept this appreciation certificate. Actually, it is already displayed on the screen.
I humbly accept this, and I thank everyone.
Thank you for your ample amount of time of your schedule you have taken and come over here to give this inaugural. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next, I would like to call Assistant Professor T. Abhirami ma'am to introduce our second speaker, Dr. Narendra Kaliappan.
Good morning and a warm welcome. While it's obvious to feel happy to deliver the welcome note, where I feel excited and feel blessed about this role as this International and Research Institute. Even though this conference is the marker of success, it also allows us to meet some of the brilliant minds from abroad, who is none other than Dr. Narendra Kaliappan. I'm profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to introduce our chief guest for the day. Dr. Narendra Kaliappan is a senior lecturer at School of International Studies, College of Law, Government International Studies, University Uttara, Malaysia. From Uttara, Malaysia. Global business science and sage publication in the field of business management, in addition to presenting several papers at local and international conferences. Match your strategies for brilliant performance. Strategy Execution for Performance Excellence are his latest books. He received 2016 Emerald Literacy Award for Excellence for the paper entitled Innovation Strategies and Performance, Are They Truly Linked? His teaching case entitled Tasty Ways Export G was registered in Center under Strategy and General Management category. He has received Best Teacher Award and Young Faculty Award in 2019. He has been constantly invited to deliver speeches in Vietnam, Singapore, Bahrain, Tunisia, and conduct workshops in Malaysia. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me share my slide. Can you see my slide?
Yeah.
So am I audible? Can you listen to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So my name is Dr. Narendra Kaliappan. I'm a senior lecturer at Department of International Business from School of International Study, University Utara, Malaysia. So I have several slides to explain my inaugural address. Just a few slides. Maybe I can finish within 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, my first slide is about welcome to International Webinar Conference ComCon 3.0. It's organized by Dr. MGR Educational Research Institute, Department of Commerce, in collaboration with Kripa Dristi Publication. Personally, this is my second time I joined this conference. Last year, I joined as a speaker, and this year they invite me to give inaugural address. I'm very honored for this opportunity. So I hope my speech will get some benefit for the students and also some participants. Okay, let me start my speech by talking about this theme of this research, this conference. So this research conference is about role of robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence and business. So when we look at this theme, so we can say that this is a timely manner because we are currently in a pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. So we can say that many organizations already started to push this agenda, robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence in their organization. So I would like to appreciate the research, the conference committee to choose this research theme for this conference. It's a good initiative and good idea. So let's move further. So if you look at my slide, you can see that whether you like it or not, the future of business or the success of future business is belongs to robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence. So this is something deniable. We need to admit this. Okay, so because we know that currently we are in IR 4.0, Industry Revolution 4.0. So every organization is started to talk about the digitalization. So everywhere you go, even during this pandemic, COVID-19, every company is talking about digitalization. So they already started to implement like a machine learning, IoT, Internet of Things, big data, 3D printing, cloud computing, and some sort of technology or innovation in their organization. Okay, this is what actually happening now. And we can see that the current business model of any organization is changed. So something that we have to take note, we as a academician, as a practitioners, we need to take note on this business model as change. So this is what I want to explain from my first slide. Okay, back to next. Of course, there are a lot of fears surrounding robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence. What's going to happen to the human workforce as process become fully automated? Okay, we are as a human being, of course, we have some kind of fears. We scared what will happen to my job, whether the robotics will take my job. Am I still relevant to the current situation? So we as a human being, of course, we have this kind of fears. This is a normal thing. So I just want to share with you about the World Economic Forum report. So this report says that rise of machine and automation would eliminate 85 million jobs by 2020. So please do not panic. Of course, when we see this figure, 85 million jobs will be eliminated by 2025. We feel a panic, but actually what we need to understand here is any changes will definitely bring some kind of fundamental transformation inside the organization. It's like before, previously we use a typewriter, right, to type. When they introduced computers, we forgot about the typewriters and then we moved to computer. So this is exactly what going to happen when these machines and automation introduce. So we need to make some kind of changes in our workforce, in our the way we do things. But at the same time, it expects 97 million new jobs to be created, meaning an overall addition of 12 million jobs. This is a good news. That means This automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence will help us to create 97 million of new jobs. That means new jobs will be created. In my next slide, I will explain you what are the new jobs will be created. Okay, it stresses the needs for upskilling and reskilling from employers to ensure staffs are sufficiently equipped for the future work. Okay, there are two important things that we have to learn in this slide. Number one is upskilling. Number two is reskilling. We as academician or as a practitioners, we need to know about these two terms. Upskilling is like we are giving some sort like a new skills in order to make the current job more better. I give you one example. Like currently I'm a lecturer. My organization is give me some kind of training, and after I attended the training, I can do my lecturing in terms of teaching or in terms of researching better. My performance will increase. This is what we call upskilling. Reskilling is the same thing. We are giving some kind of training, new skills, but that person can do other jobs in the organization. Okay, for example, I give you the same example. I'm a lecturer, and my organization is giving me some kind of training, maybe training in terms of management and leadership. So once I attended that training, I will get some leadership skill so that I can take like a leadership position in my organization. That means apart from teaching, I also can do other jobs. This is what we call reskilling. So please remember, upskilling and reskilling is very important in order to survive in this digital age. Okay, so next we move to just now. I told you that I want to share what are the jobs that are available in this digital age. If you look at this from World Economic Forum report, these are the top 10 emerging jobs that will be created. For number one is data analysis scientists, AI, machine learning scientists, general and operation managers, software and application developers, sales and marketing professional, big data specialists, digital transformation specialists, new technology specialists, organizational development specialist, information technology service. So these are the emerging work jobs that will created by this automation, artificial intelligence and robotics. So please don't worry about if let's say robotics take over my job, what will happen to my future? But you will have a new future, new jobs. And but what are the things that we need is we need to equip with a proper skill in order to be relevant in this digital age. Okay, just next. I just want to emphasize a few things in my presentation. Number one is robotics, automation, and AI has arrived. We need to come to a realization. We need to realize that it's not going to happen in 5 years time or 10 years in future or after 25 years. But this robotic automation and artificial intelligence is already started when 2015 or 2016, when we started to talk about industry 4.0. So we need to come to a realization. When we realize, then only we will change our mindset. This is number one. Because the organization are changed, as I mentioned before, the business model already changed. They are not focusing on traditional business model, but they changed to digital business model. So it's not like a special thing that using robotics, automation, or AI. It's become a standard for any organization to start embark on robotics, automation, and AI. So I just want to emphasize here, it's already started. Okay. Next is about, it's a very good point. Interest in robotics, automation, and AI gone beyond tech industry. Okay, previously when they started this robotics, automation, or artificial intelligence, started with this technology industry, tech industries like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple. But after that, they started to realize that this already gone beyond that tech industry. They started on manufacturing industries. For example, like in manufacturing industry, they are using like a machine learning AI system, and they are using, currently they are talking about cobot. Cobot is a collaborative robot. That means a person any workers, a human, they can work together with this cobot. That means they can work together and one organization with the robotics. This is what we call a cobot. And next, we can talk about the healthcare industry. You know, right? Currently, we have like a fitness tracker. We call as a medical wearables, and VR doctor. We have virtual reality doctors, and we have also a robotic surgeon. So this AI robotics automation is already in in healthcare industry. And we also have experience in terms of retailing, like a warehouse robot. We have like a what Amazon and Alibaba is using drone, and we have e-commerce, like the first speaker said about the e-shopping. And then in terms of financial institution, they have a fintech. In terms of education, because I'm from education field, I want to talk about education. We are using AR, VR in our classroom, personalized learning. Even our some we have certain softwares that we use in order to create some data and to write some papers. For example, like Grammarly, we use for language editing, and Quillbot we using for to rephrase our sentences, and even for plagiarism checker we use Turnitin. So everything is some sort of AI even in education industry. We can talk about the public organization, like even government, Malaysian government. We also emphasize on e-government. And when I prepare for these notes, I also noticed that even India, they have like a digital India. So which is some sort of a digitalization in the government organization. So one thing that we have to everywhere, we have this robotic automation and AI. Okay, next I want to just talk about this. Just sorry to say that goodbye manual works, even the workers, because company is investing a lot on technology and innovation. So there's no room for manual workers, because every time we are just focusing on speed and efficiency. So if let's say they're a big company, they are invest on technology. If let's say they are a small company, what they are doing now is they are collaborating with the small startup, tech startups, in order to make sure they enter into this kind of automation or robotics and AI. So what actually organization thinking now is they want to reduce the cost and they want to add the value, because they want to have some sort of like competitive advantages. So speed and efficiency is a matter. So any companies they're not moving towards digitalization in terms of automation, robotics or AI, maybe they will left out in this digital age. Okay, these are the things that sorry, who is scribbled on my slide? It's okay. Let me start my presentation. Okay, I just want to talk about a few things from my education field, because I'm from higher education. The key point that as educators, how are we going to help our students? This is a very important because we are from I'm from a business management field, and the organizer is from the Dept.Commerce. So I just want to talk a few things about the education field, how we can cater our students to this digital age. So number one is we need to review the curriculum. That's for sure. We need to review everything. And next is we need to the syllabus and the assessment method. Definitely we need to change the syllabus and assessment method. We need to invite more practitioners into our classroom. We just educators is not enough. We need to bring practitioners into the classroom. Okay, next, we need to focus on service learning and experiential learning. And we need to equip our students with the digital skills, like analytical skills, like data analytics, business intelligence. So these are the things is very important for our students. So just one point I want to emphasize here is, previously we focused to produce more managers, future managers, but at this point of time, it's not about producing future managers. We need to change our mindset. We need to produce more management specialists who can make decision based on the data they provided. So this is a very important, and from today or in onward, we have to change the mission of our business school. This is a very important for academicians. So I just want to end my slide, my presentation. Let's hear deeper insight from our keynote speakers from both industry and academia. I really like the lineup of these speakers. When I look at this, the pamphlet of this workshop, I see the speakers from practitioners. They are from industry, and I also see some speakers from higher education, professors and associate professors. So this very good lineup, because I'm really looking for some good inputs from both parties, practitioners and educationists. Uh, uh, Bringing together in one platform is very good initiative and very good idea. So looking forward for an excellent conference. And this is my last slide. I'm really disappointed with this, because someone is scribbled on my slide. So I hope later the organizer will share my slide to the audience, because I would say, this is my information. I want every participant to stay connected with me. This is my WhatsApp number. I share my email address, my Facebook, and also my LinkedIn address. You can stay connect with me. You can call me, or you can send me some messages. Maybe we can do some kind of collaboration in future, because I need to do this just for the betterment of our students, future students, and also for the society. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Narendra sir, and first of all, I want to give a big apologize from our department side, that maybe because the students or somewhere, the person who is scribbling your excellent slides, and it's really heartbreaking and all. And thank you, Dr. Narendra sir, for such a valuable inaugural address by sharing your slide content. Definitely, we are expecting by 2025, what are the data you have showed in the slide. Yes, we are witnessing that artificial intelligence is taking the human place, and we are witnessing really in the coming future that Earth is going to be a big tech planet itself. Okay. And thank you once again, sir, for submitting your paper on the topic, the role of artificial intelligence in digital marketing, a conceptual study. Thank you so much, sir. I just want to add some more the points from your abstract. Artificial intelligence can seen as a holistic integration between the cloud computing, robotics, digital content creation, various technologies for various devices and their systems. You have also mentioned that another important factor that aims to apply the artificial intelligence in the marketing process is that the business environment becomes more complex, competitive, and dynamic with various internet tools such as Web 2.0. Therefore, the companies must recognize, yes, it's true. If the companies will be recognizing and understanding the customers' needs and expectations, because even the customers also has to witness what is going to change in the coming the near future. Definitely, the humans is going to substitute with the robots as well as with the artificial intelligence products that effectively meet the needs. Thank you so much, sir, for your paper presentations. And once again, I apologize for your scribbling, sir. And I request, sir, kindly accept our appreciation certificate, which will be displayed on the screen. I request you to, yes, please kindly accept the appreciation certificates. So Moving on to the next, I would like to call Assistant Professor Ms. M. Vijay Mohanapriya ma'am to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Anil Babu.
Hi.
A warm welcome. It is my privilege to introduce Mr. Anil Babu, Chief Technical Officer, SSS JP Private Limited.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And a person fitting the theme artificial intelligence. He handled key responsibilities in designing and developing on automobile engineering and entire engine feeding system. His educational qualification, he carries ME in Automobile Engineering from Anna University and BE Automobile Engineering from Anna University and Diploma in Automobile Engineering from State Board of Hyderabad. He handled a project in design and development in automobile engineering, and she is his components for following like Ashok Leyland, Nissan, Reeves, Tata Motors, M&M, Simpson, Royal Enfield, BMW, and TVS. Behind these records, he was an assistant professor in Manipal University for 2 eras. We are very honored to welcome you, sir. We welcome you once again.
Thank you. Can you give access to present my screen?
Yes, sir.
Professor, can you give access to me to present my screen?
Yes, sir. It has been changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Good morning. Thank you for giving me a great opportunity to present my topic, artificial intelligence in automobile industry. And I appreciate our MGR University take up this requirement, because if we are not upgraded as per the industry requirement, we'll be outgraded. So again, thanking you for having me here. So I'll straight away go to our topic, artificial intelligence in business industry, especially in auto industry. So I think most of the people you have seen this car. So any guess which car it is?
Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, great. So year 2016, the Rolls-Royce, they released this particular vehicle. So I got excited. Oh my God, they had launched a new car. But I tried to find out something. Where is my steering wheel? Or where is my driver's seat? But unfortunately, they eliminated the driver's seat as well as steering. You no need to have any manual intervention in this particular car. So yes, we thought it is a concept. But year 2019, they shown an actual vehicle with testing facility in their UK facility, especially this particular vehicle. So this what we say concept is not no more concept. It is available in the road. You take your Teslas, it can ride you without any manual intervention. Most of the countries, they started implementing this AI in auto industry, like your Tesla cars, Rolls-Royce, even in Mercedes vision. I'll try to take a small video about this particular vision. Then we'll go back. Future, maybe maybe after by 2023, you are going to select your car directly like this. Means what is the material you require inside your car, what is the color you require. You can select within less than 5 minutes time. Then your luggage will be loaded automatically. Your car will come to your parking yard or maybe doorstep. You don't need to call your driver and say that where you are. So your car will come and find you where you are. Hope Satish want to buy this car. Okay, good. Yeah, so there you can see without any you can say steering system or brakes or nothing. Just you need to climb your car and tell your location. It will deliver you where you want to go. Yeah. So this is your AI. So whatever we are thinking, this is a dream, but is already implemented in auto industry. Just you need to say your location where you want to go, and it can move forward. And your doors will open. You don't need to bend and come out from your car. You can straight away as a king, you can come out from your car. So this is a vision. And most of the auto industry is moving forward in the same direction. Same like our Rolls-Royce, BMWs and Audi. Yeah, I'll go back to, yeah, next slide. But Namalung already Arambistanga. You see this particular picture, no? Our farmer already is sleeping and without any AI is traveling in this bull cart without any assistance of AI, okay? Just for fun. But what is AI is basically simple thing. We want to make our life comfortable and happy. That's all. Either in the previous case, if you see, there is no assistance. You don't need to depend upon any driver, or you don't need to stress yourself to travel from A to B. Whereas here, the same thing is done by a bull cart. He's having a memory. This bull cart have a memory. He know where he want to travel, where is his home and his workplace. So that's the reason the driver is comfortably sleeping and this vehicle is moving forward. Same way, our cars now started learning where you want to go, which location you want to go based on your mobile data. Suppose tomorrow morning you want to go to MGR University, you will just type MGR University, your car will stand in front of your car door or your house door, and you can directly travel there. Okay. Coming back to the other industries, apart from auto industry. So this is about a warehouse located in UK. So this is central warehouse. Oh yeah, I'll try to take a small video here. This is already into production. Hope you got an idea, because now industry is changing drastically. If you want to buy a lace packet, you can just select from Amazon, say that I want to take a lace packet of five pieces. Immediately this robot will pick from that particular warehouse. Less than 5 hours time, your product will be delivered at your house. So this is an automation is happening in the all over the world. So we are already automation and AI, our industrialization already started. So we have to just as an young engineers or young commercial aspects like our young like entrepreneurs, you need to start up your career saying that yes, this is an opportunity. How can I grab this opportunity into this particular area? Because don't think it is a threat, it is an opportunity. So example, somebody taken this as an AI automated warehouse. Similarly, why can't we do it in our house or near to the Chennai? So already Amazon, they put up their facility in Dubai, central Dubai. So similar facility like that, so many industries they've taken up. So it is a great opportunity to invest in AI, as well as you can learn machine learning, whatever people are saying, try to learn and upgrade your skills and move forward. If you do that, you will be a successful professional person in your career. All the best. Thank you. With this, I close my topic. You have anyone have doubts or can?
Thank you, Mr. Anil, for sharing us such a valuable content on the topic robotics and the artificial intelligence. Yes, it's very much true that we are going to see, as you've shown us as an example of Rolls-Royce. Even we are also going to witness that we are customizing our own car with the help of robots. Yes, world is going to be a very changed with very fast pace also. Thank you, sir, for very valuable PPT contents as sure. I'm sure that definitely the audience are spellbound with your presentation. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Now, sir, on the behalf of department, I request you to kindly accept our appreciation certificate, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir.
Jai Hind. Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to call. Moving on to the next, I would like to call Assistant Professor T. Abhirami to introduce our next guest, Mr. Madhivarnan Ilan.
Good morning to the gathering present over here. Stars shine at night. Some stars shine at bright daylight. It's our pleasure to welcome one such star, our honorable guest, Madhivarnan Ilangovan.
Abhirami ma'am, just 1 minute. Please hold on. Please hold on, Abhirami ma'am.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I would like to call Assistant Professor B. Kavita ma'am to introduce our guest, Mr. Vishnu Chandra.
Good morning to one and all present here. I have great pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Vishnu Chandra. He is currently working for Wipro Technologies vast what is his contribution and in various domains in the field. A warm welcome to our international conference. I request our chief guest to take over the session.
Yeah, thank you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. MGR University and the respected dignitaries, professors, especially Dr. Mr. E.B. Sendil Kumar for me, such a where Dr. Rangarajan, Dr. Narendra, and Mr. Anil Babu, and professors from different universities with vast educational experience. So it's really a pleasure. And I would like to thank MGR University for giving me such an opportunity. And I would like to extend my wishes to MGR University for choosing such a topic, the robot automation and the artificial intelligence, which is the need of the hour. With COVID-19 pandemic, the way we see the world before 2019 versus how we see the world after 2020 and 2021 has completely changed a lot. We had social distancing in place, which means like we expected that it would separate the humans from one another, but it really didn't. With a lot of new technologies like the FaceTime, even the Zoom that we use, a lot of things, it has brought in the world one together in a single arm, which is nothing more than your mobile. As Professor Rangarajan and Narendran said, automation and artificial intelligence is the future. Without evolution, this humankind wouldn't have been survived all these years. And our next evolution is nothing but the automation, artificial intelligence, reduce the painful process, the work that we do, and do it in a much easier format and much better format that is useful for the humans. For example, as Dr. Anil Babu said, the automation in cars. So first, when I saw that Tesla, I was like amazed because I haven't seen such a technology. Like I just used a mobile and I started the car, I drove it, and it was just standing behind, it was standing in front of my home. And I just took it, I entered the map, and then I reached office. So it was like, I didn't do anything, literally. I just used the app and everything it drove for me. And the most important thing is what this robotics, what this automation, and what this artificial intelligence is going to do for my commerce industry, because this has been organized by the Department of Commerce, right? What it is going to do for commerce industry. So every product or everything that has been established till now, this is a commercial one. So you can develop a product, you can develop an n number of products, but that product will only be satisfied, or that product will be only be considered as a good product when it's been commercialized properly, or when it has the useful business case written to it. So that's where we need young minds like the commerce people to write the proper business case for every product that you develop. So I would like to highlight few of the examples from my industry that I'm working on. So I'm basically from the banking and financial services domain. So I've seen this industry, how it has evolved for the past 10 years. So when I joined Wipro 10 years before, I heard the same word like automation, artificial intelligence. It is going to take the jobs away from people. People will eventually lose their jobs. It is going to take everything out of it. But actually it didn't. What it does, it actually upskilled and reskilled the people. So the way we work and we write the code and deploy the product before 10 years is completely changed. Previously, it would take almost 6 months for us to create a project and deploy it to the customers. But now it's taking just 2 to 3 days with all the tools in place, with all the artificial intelligence in place and robotic technology in place. We haven't done any magic. It's just that we remove the redundant work that we do. The work that can be done in a single term, we've been doing it on all the iterations, and that has been removed. It's just a click. It may be a click, but we never know. That click would save you almost 20 to 30 hours if you see it as a whole. The major problem that we had when we entered the digital era is we never know what is the value of the data that we have. Like, for example, if you are spending it maybe 20,000 or 30,000 a month, and at the end of the month, if I ask you, what is the percentage that you spend on your personal expense, food, your travel, your leisure, your expenditures, your movie, you doesn't have the data. You know that how you spend the money, but you really don't know the value of the data, how you spend the money. If you know that, you would have spent it, or you would have planned it in a proper way. What this artificial intelligence or robotics or your automation does, it doesn't give you anything. It's not like sending a rocket to Mars or sending a rocket to Moon. It just gives a pictorial representation of how you spend, what you spent versus what you could have done better. So that makes a lot of sense. So when Amazon first introduced the email services of sending emails rather than bill, they thought like they just gave a click away, which says like just tick this box to change from paper to email, but they never know how much revenue they would make it with that click. But everyone will be impressed to see they made almost $3 to $4 million savings within that 1 year. It's just a click. We never know the value of the click until or unless we make it. So the world is changing. The world is evolving, I would say, especially with COVID. Everything is getting changed. We are hearing stories like airports are going to install the automation bots where it will scan your face and iris, and it will say, instead of giving your fingerprint, it will just scan your face and iris, and it will say if you have any criminal backgrounds, whether you can pass the immigration and all those things. So it is changing a lot. And with respect to my payment industry, so before 1990, as Dr. Rangarajan said, you have to stand in a big line in a bank queue. You have to return, you have to write a challan, you have to give it, you have to take the amount back, and then it's a painful process. But now the world has changed a lot. With the phone, with the watch, with the ring, you can make the payment. When someone would have said it on 1990s or 2000 that you can make a payment with the ring, people would have laughed at you. But in 2021, it's a fact, because we are paying with the ring, nothing more than that. And it's more a safe and secure payment rather than how we deal with the cash, because I do have the audit of what I'm spending or how it goes, how it flows from the acquirer to issuer, who's the bank, how it's getting spent. So the role of robotics is it's not a big thing, and as we hear myths in India, we hear it, right? It's going to take everything away from you. Robots will rule us. It's not just like that. It's nothing but an artificial intelligence. It's a controlled artificial intelligence. So you are going to tell your machine how to behave, what it has to do. We humans still have the control of what it has to be done, and it will exactly do your redundant work. Like at 6 a.m. in the morning, if it is a duty to sweep out an office, why you have to do it with a human? Give it to a robot. It will do it. So that's how we have to see this field. It's not a threat. It's actually a blessing in disguise. So we should understand the concept and we should start working on it. As young entrepreneurs, I think you guys are going to enter into the job market maybe in the next 3 or 4 years. So you guys should have a clear view of how robotics and automation is going to help you. Again, I would like to thank MJ University and especially Dr. C.B. Senthil Kumar for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. And I would like to thank Dr. Rangarajan, Dr. Narendra, Mr. Anil Babu for giving such a wonderful speech, and Professor Geeta Lakshmi and Dr. S. Meena for organizing this wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vishnu Chandra, for staying awake late night for this international event and sharing your valuable knowledge on the robotics and the artificial intelligence. Yes, sir, whatever you have said is absolutely correct. We are going to see that this change has to be adapted, because we have witnessed that the humans won't woke up with this technology and the technical gadgets, and the coming generation is definitely will have to live in the technical world. Thank you so once again. On the behalf of department, I would like request you to kindly accept our appreciation certificate.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next, I would like to call Assistant Professor Ms. B. Kavita ma'am to introduce our next guest speaker, Dr. G.H. Karina B.
It is great honor for me to introduce and welcome our chief guest, Dr. G.H. Karina Binu. Dr. Karina professor and HOD in the Department of Management Studies, SA Engineering College, Chennai. She has 20 years of teaching experience and her specialization in finance and marketing. Her passion is into entrepreneurship and consultancy. She certified as resource person by MSME DI for entrepreneurship development. Dr. Karina has been the ED cell coordinator and carried out several ED activities during her tenure as coordinator. She has obtained 3 grants for ED cell and has successfully completed the project. She published 9 papers in Scopus Index, 14 interest in consultancy work and conducted real-time survey for a hospital and Manna Foods. She was awarded as senior educator and scholar by Nation Foundation of Entrepreneurship Development in 2019. Thank you, ma'am.
For the kind words you have spoken about me. Thank you very much. Am I audible to all here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Respected Dr. C.B. Sendil Kumar, HOD of the Department of Commerce, Indian University, Dr. S. Meena and Mrs. Geeta Lakshmi, the organizing secretaries of the conference, enlightened participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all. It's a great honor to be a part of this international conference as a keynote speaker. On this international webinar conference titled The Role of Robotics, Automation and AI in Business, organized by the Department of Commerce, Indian University. I'd like to first congratulate the Department of Commerce for having had a thought of conducting such a conference, which is the need of the hour. Definitely, this is the need of the hour because we are into the, revolution of digitalization, and we are into the revolution of artificial intelligence. So this is the need of the hour. As academicians and as industrialists, we need to join together and discuss about the potential of artificial intelligence and as what it could do to the teaching fraternity on the whole and to the education sector on the whole. Because these kind of researches can only complement our teaching on the whole. Because teaching and research always goes hand in hand, or I can say that these two are the two eyes of any teacher. Okay, you cannot survive with one eye. Just teaching alone is not sufficient. Research also has to go hand in hand with teachers because we don't know. At some point of time, our teaching would complement research, and at the same time, our research would also complement our teaching in the classroom effectively. So this is a topic, artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, and its role in business is a topic of discussion. And I congratulate the Department of Commerce for having had a thought of conducting this conference on this theme. So coming to my, as requested by the organizers of the conference, I would stick on to the theme of this conference. So my keynote address would be on the role of AI, robotics, and automation in business. And as an academician, I will also touch few points on what is the role of this in education too. Okay, so as we all know, we are, today AI and RPA, robotic process automation, has become really the buzzword. They are the game changers in all the fields we can list out or we can even name off. So business is no exception. And of course, education has also become not an exception into this domain of artificial intelligence. As Professor Stephen Hawking has said, we have not yet fully understood and predicted the true impact of AI, but the transformation, the operational efficiency due to AI has already crept into our business, has already crept into our life as well. Yes, before we could understand it fully, it is really on the third gear and is dominating the entire world in all possible domains we could name. Okay, so before I could proceed, as we all know, like all my previous precedent speakers would have spoken about AI, robotics, and automation, I would also touch upon my understanding on what is artificial intelligence, robotics, and automation. As we all know, artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence by machines, okay, especially computer systems. Okay, that is what is artificial intelligence. And Amir Hussain, co-founder of Spock Cognition, has said that AI is the kind of second coming of a software. Definitely, it has revolutionized the software and as well the business. So it is a kind of a second coming, he has said, which is very true. And coming to machine learning, which is a subset of artificial intelligence, it is the ability of the machine to improve its future performance by analyzing previous results. It focuses on learning, reasoning, and remembering from the past learning and improving itself over a long period of time. And as we all know, robotic process automation, it is a use of software to perform repeated operations through machines or through, bots is what is called as robotic process automation. These processes which were earlier done by humans are now replaced by robots. So RPA technology, that is robotic process automation, combines AI and ML to make it more powerful. So imagine, for a simple understanding, imagine RPA, that is robotic, as the arms and body of a thing, and a bot, arms and body of a bot, and artificial intelligence is the brain or the head of the bot. Okay, so this is how they both go hand in hand. That is robotics and artificial intelligence, they go hand in hand. So robotic is the body, whereas artificial intelligence is the brain or the head. So AI gets more intelligent over time by assessing the data that RPA can provide. Instead of just completing the programmed action, RPA, with the help of AI, artificial intelligence, will be able to determine what action to take based on the data. So our familiarity, we are already familiar to artificial intelligence, though the word has changed. We have, I would say the byword for artificial intelligence for many of us is Alexa. Okay, the modern field of artificial intelligence came into existence in 1956 itself, but it took decades of progress towards developing an AI system and making it a technological reality. So many people still associate artificial intelligence with science fiction movies and science fiction characters. So AI develops and becomes more common in our daily life. As I said, Alexa and Siri, they are the common man's understanding of AI. So business and artificial intelligence. So the theme of my topic, as suggested, is that what is the role of this AI, robotics, in business? Yes, for companies, AI and robotics is a source of building capabilities and resources rather than technologies. Okay, it is not just building technology. Business build their capabilities and resources using this artificial intelligence and robotics. So in today's scenario, while they strengthen their capabilities and resources, companies gain distinctive competencies. So which is a building block for competitive advantage and superior profitability. So companies, they're all in the competition to build their distinctive competencies. And one of the source of building it is through their capabilities and resources, for which artificial intelligence, robotics, and automation are playing a very, very great role. So in business, they can provide three distinct needs. I will just touch upon these 3 points in my study. So, artificial intelligence supports business in solving their 3 major needs, being automating business processes, gaining insights through data analysis, and engaging with customers and employees. These are the 3 major areas which an AI and robotics provide or benefit they provide to the business community on the whole. So business process automation, what is it? It is a use of technology to execute recurring tasks or processes in a business where manual efforts can be replaced. So this would reduce cost, increase efficiency, and streamline. Okay, so simply stated, you may not be understanding where it is used in the business. For example, this automation or artificial intelligence is used in employee onboarding. Okay, so this business process automation through employee onboarding helps the companies in major task of hiring employees. Hiring employees involves multiple tasks like filling out employee information forms, setting up induction sessions, arranging training sessions, setting up bank accounts, collecting relevant documents, and assigning mentors are just few examples I could give. But as such, this would all take so much of time, so much of efforts, and so much of labor would be required on the part of the company to complete this onboarding process. Whereas if it is being automated, okay, it avoids a lot of paperwork, missing out of some important tasks to be avoided. Employee dissatisfaction could be avoided, and it would increase the productivity on all. So applying business process automation to employee onboarding will ensure smooth transition from one task to the next, keeping relevant employees in the loop and providing visibility into the status of the process. So this is how, this one example where business process automation could help companies or meet the needs of the company. Okay, it helps in reducing the cost and increasing the efficiency where they can reach the distinctive competency. Okay, and coming to the next need, which AI solves to the company is that gaining insight through data analysis. This is where really AI supports business. Okay, there are nearly 2.5 quintillion bytes of data created each day. Okay, with or without intention, these many data are created every day. So such raw data remains useless unless technology, processes, and architecture converts them into useful insights through business intelligence. Okay, such insights from business intelligence forms vital data for strategic decision making, which is helped with the use of artificial intelligence, and a subset of this is data science, which is a growing phenomenon nowadays. So data science helps companies to gain insights through otherwise irrelevant data. So now using the predictive analysis, the company can gain data, gain insights about the customer, when he buys, what he buys, all such information could be obtained by the company employer only through this data science. Okay, earlier irrelevant has now become more vital information for the company. So that is due to the implementation of artificial intelligence into the business. Okay, and then the third need which artificial intelligence and robotics does to the company is engaging with customers and employees. So unlike traditional data analysis and software, AI is continuously learning and improving from the data it analyzes and is able to anticipate customer behavior well in advance, as we have seen in Amazon. Okay, they keep track of what is your preference, what do you purchase repeatedly. So based on that, the deep learning mechanism or architecture of Amazon understands what you are and what you would buy, and your behavior will be predicted. So even before you think of buying, the suggestions will come to you from Amazon. There are a lot of instances about this. Okay, so you would also when you would have browsed or went for a Google search, there would be suggestions given by the computer. The Google Assistant gives you suggestions as to what you want to complete, what is your search all about. So they complete it. It is based on the deep learning architecture provided in the computer system. So dictionary and spell check, these are all the examples of deep learning and other things which are being provided by the artificial intelligence. Okay, so this allows when you anticipate the customer behavior well in advance, this allows the brands to provide highly efficient content, increase sales opportunities, and it improves the customer journey. The customer is delighted with the company because he knows that, when he comes to know that the company is understanding what is his behavior, and accordingly they cater the product. Okay, and they also improvise the product based on the customer insights. Customer definitely becomes delighted and he continues his journey with the company's brands. And another example of this customer engaging customers into the business is through the AI chatbots. Chatbot is nothing but a robot. Okay, so through this, you can at any time, 24/7, you can engage very easily with any company for that matter. So chatbots providing personal assistance to the customers. And not only chatbots or the robots, there are many more robots that provide assistance to the companies. Like Sophia could be said as an example. Sophia, an Anson Robotics company software, first social humanoid manufactured by Anson Robotics, a Chinese-based company. Sophia, she has got citizenship in Saudi Arabia in the year 2017, and she has also got her own Twitter account. You can converse with her on any topic. It's a social humanoid. Okay, it has got the emotions of all human beings. Okay, so she expresses nearly 62 facial expressions. Sophia, and she's a celebrity in almost all TV shows and interviews, and she has visited even India, once. Okay, so these kind of robots help. It's a social robotic. Apart from social robotics, we have also other forms of robotics like Spot, Ignis. So these robotics also provide a lot of assistance to the companies in reaching out the spaces where the machines or human beings could not reach out. Okay, so this is where like engaging with customers and engaging with employees is another need which is served by artificial intelligence and robotics today. Company, it helps business in a greater extent. And some more examples of artificial intelligence, I would say self-driving cars. In future, we have, one of my previous speaker was talking about the self-driving cars. So in future, this is going to be the system. Imagine now you are ordering, you are booking a Ola taxi. In future, maybe in 2035, you could order a taxi at home, at your doorstep. You might have a car without a chauffeur. So your destination would be all programmed. Car's internal mechanism, artificial intelligence will understand. It will sense what is on the road. Okay, so what happens is it using its deep learning, it takes you to your destination with the assistance of GPA and other technologies. This could also happen in the future. It's not very long. Okay, Alexa is another very good example of artificial intelligence, smart assistants, proactive healthcare management, disease mapping. Google has developed a software where by just sensing your eyes, the disease pertaining in the human body could be identified. Virtual travel booking agents, social media monitoring. These are all the various examples of artificial intelligence. And it is, this artificial intelligence is not only occupied the business domain, it has also stretched its domain into education sector. So the use of AI in education has given a completely new perspective of looking at education and looking at teachers, students, parents, and of course the educational institution in the educational setup on the whole. Okay, so in future, definitely AI is not going to replace the teachers. It can never happen, but still it can provide a lot of assistance to teachers. Okay, some of the areas where artificial intelligence could help education sector or could improvise education sector is through automation of basic administrative activities. So I think most of the teachers here would agree with me that most of the teachers' time goes in grading. Okay, preparing the report cards and other things. Okay, monitoring the students' performance. So these are the routine tasks, monitoring the attendance of a student. These are all the routine tasks. So with artificial intelligence, teaching assistants would evolve. So these teaching assistants would carry out the administrative activities of what a teacher could perform in the classroom. Other than teaching, all administrative works can be taken up by the teaching assistant. And personalized learning, we know that all students are not same. There are slow learners, there are fast learners, there are intelligent students. So with artificial intelligence, the students can be categorized very easily, and according to the IQ of the students, the intelligence level of the students, tailor-made study plan for each and every student can be made. And then another important area where artificial intelligence can play its role in education is constructive feedback to both teachers as well to the students. It can provide constructive feedback based on various aspects, like not only by the students' performance, even by the facial expression. The deep learning can analyze the movement of a student in the classroom. It can grasp the recognitions of face recognition, can understand whether the student is interested in the teacher's class or not. Okay, so by all these things, constructive feedback can be obtained both to the teacher as well as to the student. Okay, and the class progress timetable can all be accessible by students. Of late, I heard that a school is implemented a app called as a transport app, where the parents can come to know as to where the particular bus is traveling using the GPA system. The parent can understand as to where the bus is going around, so that they can on time help the student to board into the bus. And during the evenings also, they might know where the bus is, or if there is any delay in the bus, or whether this bus has already reached the destination, can all be understood. So again, that is a boon for all the schools in running their transport systems. And then the most important thing is tutoring and support outside the classroom. Your classroom becomes almost a flipped classroom, where you can give teaching on the classroom, and assignments can be given to the student on online mode, so that the class is engaged 24/7. Whenever a student has any query, the tutorial support can be provided to the student. So these are all the various avenues or areas where teaching or education sector can be impacted by artificial intelligence. This would have taken some years, but due to this pandemic, one of the brighter side of the pandemic is that because of the pandemic, all things have made steadfast. We have advanced the implementation of AI into educational system few years earlier. So this is what the role of the artificial intelligence into education would be. So before I conclude, I would say that artificial intelligence isn't a boogeyman that science fiction movies scared people with for years. Okay, nor it is a job killer that employees are worried about, and it provides many valuable business opportunities. Based on current projection, AI is expected to have the ability to increase labor productivity by up to 40% by 2035. By leveraging AI to understand the customer better, taking advantage of real-time decisioning and predictive analysis, providing a hyper-personalized experience, business can really boom well. And AI chatbots to engage a customer, the customer journey can be improved to all touching points and across all channels. The future of manufacturing will likely involve humans working seamlessly alongside various artificial intelligence, being prepared for robotic implementation could help out business ahead of the competition, and definitely it would help the companies to improve their distinctive competencies and superior profitability. So with this, I'd like to conclude. And before I conclude, let me thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. All the best for all the participants and the paper presenters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. G.H. Karina Binu, ma'am. And this is highly and very much appreciated that you have taken the ample amount of time from your working schedule to join us for this event, and also make us aware about your understanding in the robotics and the artificial intelligence. Yes, ma'am, as you said, many business concerns is now totally depend upon the artificial intelligence and the robotics to increase their productivity as well as the profit cost. Now, even the world, not only in our country, but the world, many big companies are adopting the artificial intelligence. And we have also seen that even many chatbots is also there for assisting us in a very different ways. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable knowledge. And thank you also once again for presenting the paper and helping us. Sustainable development, your topic is the sustainable development in education through educational intelligence and big data analysis with the co-author, Ms. Radhika, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your participation for this international conference, ComCon 3.0. Thank you, ma'am. On the behalf of Dept.Commerce, I request you to kindly accept our appreciation certificate, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
It's a
ma'am.
wonderful
once again.
gesture. It's wonderful.
Now we will have a glimpse content of our slide, please. Here are the PPT contents of the Dr. Narendra Kalyappan.
Good afternoon to the gathering present over here. Stars shine at night. Some stars shine at bright daylight. It's our pleasure to welcome Madhivanan Ilangovan, founder and son, and passions to build a complete learner-centric technology
Abhirami,
education.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, continue.
Student to capabilities in technology, robotics,
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show some robots also, because you wanted to know about robotics in different fields and all here who are very, very highly interested to know about. Let's take this journey. If at all you have any questions, interrupt me in between. 1 or 2 questions I can answer. And being this is a conference, there is a limited time. So let me go ahead with my flow. You interrupt to ask me anything which you want to know more. Robotics in the field of education, that is where our ma'am, the previous speaker also was mentioning. So we'll also spend some time in that, robotics in education, and robotics is there applicable in all the fields right now. Apart from that, you need to be very, very clear about the difference which is coming in, or the blurring division between automation, robotics, AI, and IoT. Keep all these in hand. Is anybody telling you, if your students are there, many of you are there, anybody is telling you that AI is new, robotics is new? Actually, it is not new. From the day humans started finding out how to automate things in the industrial age, from then onwards, trials are there happening, bringing up automation into a state where it will perform autonomously from the automatic situation, autonomously, some predefined sequence of activities. Why we should do that? If anybody is coining a word saying that replacing humans, oh, that is not exactly right. It is enhancing humans. See, this is how the automation worked, right? Long years back, automation, how it worked. A farm would have been plowed by a person alone as a human, and the person would have innovated to put some 2 bullocks, and then they would have been plowing it. So the productivity, that is the amount of work completed in a fixed period of time, would have increased. How to do it still more, right? That is the time these machines have come into play. When machines have come into play, automation started coming down. So have a clarity in mind. So automation is all about what we are doing is being repeatedly done and the productivity is increased. Into that automation, what is that we are trying to add to that? Is can we do this automation to do something which is a human is doing? That is where robotics comes into play. Okay, if you create a machine which can stand alone, do some grinding, then it is machine. If there is a machine which is capable of walking along with you and then lift your rice and then put into the flour mill and then get the flour and put it down, it is actually enhancing your time. So that is the time you say it's a robotics, right? So with this robotics, how today is being still improvised. If you further look at it, these machines, when it is equipped with a sequence of steps, they perform the steps. You put some 20 logics to do different decisions, it will do. Can it heuristically make decision? Can it apply a fuzzy logic and make a decision? Like the way we do it, right? If we walk in the rain, we have not taken an umbrella. So we put our two hands on top. If a robo is designed, it will do the same thing. But if you don't have the hands on top, something else is in your hand, you may take your college bag and school bag and put on top. Which is the heuristic and an immediate decision you make as a human? Can we make these systems to do this? That is where we are talking a lot about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence started coming into this computing world very long back. Now we started seeing those things coming into our common regular life, where it is, as the previous speaker said, somebody says that congratulations in your email. 3 options appear at the bottom. Thank you very much. Thanks you for your wishes. So on the fly, you just click that and then that mail goes to them. So it is artificial intelligence trying to replicate your intelligence into the automation or the robotics. Then comes the next one. We cannot leave it away, which becomes part and parcel of it, which is IoT. Having the internet grown everywhere, the idea what we are having is, can these machines talk to each other? So how does that, what is that? Can these machines talk to each other? Idea is all about. See, simple thing is, like I'm sitting here right now, I moved from another office to this office. In that office, if I moved out, my mobile phone or moved out from that place, can the air conditioner switched on there? Can that switch it off itself? These two machines will talk because it knows that the person who occupied had this mobile phone, and with that I switched on and I moved out of the place using GPS. This mobile phone knows that I moved away from that place. I don't need the air conditioner. It can be switched off. These two machines can talk. Internet of Things. Are you wondering that is it possible, all of that? Yes, it is possible. It is happening day in, day out. What is the example? The last one I said is, it is existing today in my office. So if it is that is possible so much, then it is going to be so easily available for all of us. So what is that we need to know in this? Underlying principles behind it. We'll take some steps, like the way we now differentiated automation, robotization, artificial intelligence, and bringing IoT into that one. The underlying aspects, if you look at it, the power, supercomputing power coming into your smaller desktop or even handheld sized devices is making all these true. So for this, microcontrollers are playing a very big role. So if you are working on robotics, if you are going to work on artificial intelligence, if you are going to work on IoT, naturally, you will be reading about microprocessors and microcontrollers, which is required, which acts as the brain of the system. And then you will build around it a construction which is mechanical in nature, where you are trying to replicate the human physical natures. It requires an intelligence, which is the data processing, mining, or the intelligence building using some algorithms, which is AI in nature, which you are trying to replicate your talent and intelligence. When you are trying to interface, like the way you look at a person and smile, the world and this machine understands each other through MAC address, through wires and wireless networks. So you should have network all over. When we are when we are looking at all of these places today, you have been told that wear mask. What is that? It is security and safety. Similar way, machines also need to be secure and safe. It should not damage anything. It should not break itself. It should work as it is intended to. So if that is the case, security aspects in data as well as the physical things to be done. So underlying, there is a lot more of studies are coming, right? Databases you need to study, networking you need to study, security you will study, constructions of all of the mechanical aspects you will study, electronics you will study, microcontrollers you will study, microcomputers you will study. All of this for what? To make us better, right? So this better is working. So once upon a time, you go to a booth to make a telephone call. Today, you are making the phone call as and when you need. Once upon a time, you go to the photo studio to take photographs. Today, what you do is you take the photographs in the hand as and when wherever you are. So such a way, technology has given the comfort of having everything in hand. Whenever I'm explaining this, how can this be brought into education? Okay, and how can we learn this easily? So we are going to spend this time. So this is a very block level 266 people there, up there in this call, and then you are all completely switched off your videos. I don't see your face expressions, but you can do something. If you are listening to me, you like this point, what I said, at the bottom of your screen, you will see something called reactions. If you are connecting through laptop, click on the reactions and then click this reaction by saying, if I have done something good, send a clap. If you appreciate my point, send like this, so that I will orient myself towards that. In 15 minutes, we are going to talk about some 60, 70 years of development. So very important is you take away something than me talking for 15 minutes. That is why keep showing your expressions continuously. Shall I see that expressions? Even 266 show the expressions. I can see only 49 because my screen has that. Thank you very much. This is coming up. One after the other, it is coming up. See, this is what I'm trying to point out here. Look at it. Any machine can come in, any automation we do, but as humans, we need this. Feedback, connecting with each other. So every aspect of it we build in the educational space is looking forward to see that the human way of development is integrated into these machines. Just because we have invented machines, we cannot make a child born to do an ABCD in the 6th month itself. But what we can do, we can enhance. How can we enhance it? We create a device, which is a robot. The robot sits in front of the machine, in front of the boy or the girl who is 1 year, 1.5 years. It starts helping in pronunciation. Interesting, right? Today, mother and father are busy. They have the work from home also happening now. Anytime office is calling them. So the kid is sitting there without any companion. So what will the kid do? So there is a companion which can be there. That companion need not be singing rhymes. The olden days of computer-based learning was singing rhymes. Today, it is all about interactivity. The kid is capable of communicating with the robot. The kid talks to the robot and the robot responds to the kid. Same way the robot can be one way as well. What is the one way thing? The kid takes the robot and places on a platform, and the robot immediately tells on what platform it is kept. See, there is a garden picture. The robot is picked and kept on a garden picture. It says garden. You may be wondering, what is this? This person is reading from a book. Where is it? All of those things. Just for a moment, to thrill you, to make sure that this session you are seeing the real robots which can perform this. I'm going to switch my camera out. I won't be visible now. Now, do you see some of the bunch of array of things here? If any of you are not seeing my screen, I'm spotlighting myself. Yes. Do you see them? I said about a small unit which can interact with small kids. This is the one. Oh, this is capable of making 100+ sounds, and it is capable of recognizing. What is there inside as engineers or whomever the profession you are picking? Remember, It has the same stuff which we talk as electronics. This is the same stuff sitting in there. You got the idea behind it? Can you acknowledge it or recognize it through your expressions here? This is the one which is sitting inside. After we do that, we mold it like this. Then this becomes a robo. This is capable of communicating with children. Hope you heard that hi from the robo. This robo, when placed on a particular platform, it will recognize and start talking. Oh, it creates interactivity. So in the education, this is how it helps. This is for small children, right? Then I am a grown-up. I know programming. I should need to know that how I can interact with the world as I like. So the slightly bigger one. This boy is capable of, I hope you are all seeing, this boy is capable of understanding Python. This boy is capable of connecting with the internet and the IoT world, which is again based on these microcontrollers and these aspects. But these robots are all educational robots. What do we do in this? This helps you to construct these robots step by step, and thereby you learn the electronics which is involved in this, and thereby you understand that what is the interfaces you are going to use, and thereby you start programming. For example, if you look at it, many of you would have been working with Bluetooth. How many of you will unplug and plug it? Here is the Bluetooth. This is the device through which this robo connects with the laptop. Once the program is loaded, it becomes independent of itself. After that is constructed, it becomes more robust, and then it looks at you. So each one of these aspects, when you're looking at, you go slightly beyond. Shall I switch myself into the screen? Very nice. Now let me pass here and just ask a question to you all through the emotions. Can you let me know, have you seen something which is different? Have you seen the electronics very close? So this is the key. In robotics, any area, whatever we are making, it should be small. This starts like this. As we start working, this is how it starts, right? Pieces of wires and bunch of motors and set of sensors. This is the area where we need to be very, very focused to learn about it. Robotics is not something which is completely outside. It is part and parcel of the education, and education itself is getting benefited through this robotics. But every education, what do we build, starts influencing other areas. I was thinking, like somebody said, my son or daughter is going to be a lawyer. Why should they need to know about AI and robotics? Look at it. They are the people who will need it. You know the reason why? Lawyers need to read through hundreds and hundreds of decisions and the happenings in the different courts. And AI and robotics integrated, that will kind of fetch them a summary of reports of a particular case related item, which will enhance that lawyer to bring up their arguments in a powerful way. So we do construction part of it in robotics, where mechanical aspects come into play. We do intelligence built through electronics. So the electronics come into play. Then we build AI and IoT into that one, where the coding aspects come into play. And we build storage into that one. So databases come into play. And all of this, you model that into a speaking to a small kid. You make it available in the classroom for 8th standard student, where you create an anatomy or the human skeletal body. And then whenever the student touches that part of the body, it says it's the chest, it is the hand, this is this bone. Then science learning becomes simpler and easier. And anytime it becomes available. Isn't it interesting? I think I need to pass here. If there are any questions, we'll build on it. So it's a vast area. Ten minutes, 15 minutes would have gone. Are you excited to see these robos? I am excited because I'm having it in my hand. But are you excited to see that?
Yes, sir.
Good. So very specifically, what do you need to know, recollect right now in what I said is, robotics in any area, in any business, anywhere, you carve out that part wherein it is an automation which is fed with human aspects required. Robotics comes into play. Intelligence decision making, fuzzy decision making, analytical decision making, if it is done, AI comes into play. Device to device connect starts happening, then it is IoT comes into play. So all applied engineering comes into play. Biomedics also is there part of it. I have not much experimented, but there are sensors which is capable of sensing bio-related information. We have explored and experimented with pH value of the soil and water level in the soils. With that, we are able to operate those robots on its own. It is possible. Apart from this, the next part of the robotics is applying it effectively. In the industry, education field, it is applied from a childbirth to your education completely. Like the one I said, as interacting with the students, with the small kids, in the classroom, becoming a support assistant for the teacher. Oh, many of the times people will say that, oh, then teacher is not required. Once I was talking to someone, he said, oh, then in that case, shall I ask the teacher to go? No, don't do that. So that is not coming. It is like this clap and the thumbs up. So human keep reinventing. Human builds more value on these machines, and thereby it is becoming better and better. So more connectedness is happening through robotics in education. Thereby learning becomes simpler and easier. Are you able to realize and appreciate this fact? If so, thumbs up. I would like to see in all 249 screens. Good. That's a nice interaction. So, have you learned something new today in these sessions? If so, send this clap reaction on the screen. Good. Here and there it's appearing. Some people may be searching for these reactions, I believe. Okay. It's there at the bottom. If you're on a laptop, it normally appears. It depends upon Android and Apple. You just need iOS, you need to look at it. Good. Lot of claps have come. Does that mean that my session is over? Shall I say a thank you? So I wish wonderful international conference. I think you're lined up with lots and lots of innovative, interesting papers. So go free in mind, enjoy the international conference. I wish you all the best. Hope you all enjoyed the session.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful and excellent session on the topic robotics and artificial intelligence. Yes, it is possible that we are witnessing, the coming generation also is going to witnessing that the robots are communicating with each other, as it has a great impact in the human life. Thank you, sir, for having a detailed study on your field. Artificial intelligence, especially the facial recognition, as you said, it recognizes the technology and all. So robots is now as the closest companion of the humans. Thank you, sir, for showing your little panda as saying hi to the audience on the virtual dice. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of Department of Commerce, I would request you to kindly accept our appreciation certificate, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Ma'am, I can sign off, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have a glimpse on the Dr. Narendra Kalyapan's slides, PPT slides. Here our technical team is displaying Dr. Narendra Kalyapan's slides, as he has already given the inaugural address. He is from the School of International Studies, senior lecturer from University of Utara, Malaysia. As he has already shown that the data that 97 million jobs will be created in the coming years. And also it is the addition to that. By 2025, we can see that is going to be a fully automation world. Thank you, Narendra sir, for having a great glimpse on this topic, artificial intelligence and robotics. I definitely sure that our audience has even has got a very much the great knowledge on this the topic, and definitely they will be having some sort of an idea that what they are going to face in the future on this particular field. Thank you, Narendra sir, for this wonderful presentation. Moving on to the next, I would like to call Ms. Bhagyalakshmi ma'am for introducing our next guest speaker, Dr. Kavita.
A warm welcome to one and all present here for the international conference. I'm profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to introduce a speaker for the day. She is none other than Dr. M. Kavita, Assistant Professor and Research Supervisor in the Research Department of Commerce in Guru Nanak College, Chennai. Dr. Kavita, she having 15 years of teaching, learning, and research experience. She holds a master's in commerce and business administration and also postgraduate diploma in computer application. She completed her MPhil in Aragappa University and PhD in the commerce from Bharathidasan University in the year of 2010. She held a distinction at state level eligibility test, both commerce and management. Her areas of expertise include information technology, computerized accounting, marketing management, and human resources management. Currently, 8 scholars are pursuing their PhD under her guidance. She published more than 40 articles in reputed national and international journals, including Scopus. She participated and presented several papers in many national and international conferences. She is an academic counselor, project guide, evaluator of IGNOU, Board of Examiner, and University of Madras, and many autonomous colleges. With that, I once again welcome you, ma'am, for the international conference. Now I request Dr. M. Kavita, ma'am, to take over the session. Now I request Dr. M. Kavita, ma'am, to take over the session.
Very good morning to one and all present here. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, yes. So let me present my screen first. Madam, kindly make me as co-host because I could not share my screen. Madam, could you please make me as the co-host so that I have to present my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Few minutes. Few minutes.
Ma'am, it is being changed now. Please. Kavita, ma'am, it is being changed.
Madam, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay,
it is
thank you,
audible.
thank you.
Yes.
Sorry for the inconvenience, as we are facing some sort of technical issues. We'll be sharing Dr. Kavita ma'am's slides very shortly.
Yes, thank you. Very good morning to one and all present here. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Yes. First and foremost, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to MGR University for giving me this nice role of robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence in business. Thank you so much. Actually, I congratulate the organizers, and it is a high time during the pandemic how the companies are coming forward to introduce the automation particularly, and to want to introduce the business intelligence and to introduce the robotic technology. And it's a nice time and a high time. And congratulate the department, the MGR University, for organizing such a wonderful conference at this time. Thank you so much. So moving on to the business. Now we are going to my first slide. Madam, please. Next slide, please. Next. So now, previously we have listened completely about the robots. Sir had given Madhivanan sir, and we are so excited of seeing the robots, how they are responding to us, right? So previous one. Okay, see, we have visualized now, these are different types of robots that we are introducing into the business, like assembling robots, welding robots, behavior-based robotics, dancing robots, and robot navigations. So these are the different hard tasks driven with the robots with the artificial intelligence. And these robots have to be approached and they have to be implemented, particularly in the automobile industry, for fixing the perfect fit up for the vehicles. And moreover, whenever we could not approach certain features as well as the functions of the manufacturing industry, definitely we can approach, particularly in the cement industry, in the kiln, where the furnace is there, where it is very difficult for the human being at the time, we can use the robots also. Likewise, the robots are playing a very major role in the manufacturing industry. Next slide, please. Robots in manufacturing. As I told you that robots are used in manufacturing for creating efficiencies all the way from raw material handling to finished product packaging. Nowadays, the manufacturers are very much interested in introducing the robotic technology wherever possible. Whenever we are introducing the machine, particularly robots, we can get the perfection starting from getting the raw material and all the processes and getting the finished packing, where the accuracy has been ensured, and automation will help us to do a quality product without any appeal. So that robots are very much being included into the manufacturing industry. The robots protect the workers from repetitive and the dangerous tasks, as we discussed. In the cement industry and all, we are introducing the robots where some dangerous tasks can be done by the robots, while also creating more disabled jobs like engineering, programming, management, and equipment maintenance also. So robots are very much useful in the manufacturing industries nowadays. Next. Coming to the artificial intelligence. The topic is, as I told you, very interesting, that how there is a blended use of artificial intelligence with the robotic technology. Actually, robots are having some inbuilt artificial intelligence. Now, it's the science and engineering of making the intelligent machines, especially the intelligent computer programs, is known as artificial intelligence. Already we know very well that robots are having their own artificial intelligence have been inbuilt. So artificial intelligence is the intelligence of the machine and the branch of computer science that aims to create it. Actually, it is the study and design of the intelligent agents. How we are thinking, likewise, we are able to make the machine also to think. That machine is, of course, is being called as a robot. So here is a model how we can work for Robo. They are having these are the major parent discipline of AI. Since I am representing the education department, just I tried that in which places we can interact AI particularly into the business, and after getting the opinion of some CEOs in their case studies. And also, what are the parent disciplines of AI is philosophy, cognitive science, mathematics, where someone discussed about the fuzzy logic and logic gates, all that, maths, psychology, computer science. So artificial includes all these domains, and this is what the scope of artificial intelligence, which include the reasoning, learning, planning, perception, knowledge acquisition, intelligence search, uncertainty management, and others. So these are all the actual unique qualities which a person have. That is, as a human being, we are also having all these qualities like reasoning, learning, as well as some intelligence search. Now we are forcing the machine to go for that particular intelligence. That means we are asking the machine to think like a human being. So we are using the AI into the different fields like game playing, theorem proving, language and image understanding, and robot navigation. So these are the parent disciplines of AI. So AI, we are using artificial intelligence, machine learning, mathematics, imaging, physics, and signal processing. See, all these things we are aiming the computer, especially the robot, to think like a human, right? Next. Next, please. Okay, next. Okay. Intelligence include what is all about intelligence? Intelligence, we are telling the human being, he is very intelligent like that. What is it includes? Actually, the intelligence includes the reasoning and learning that we have discussed about the perception. What is the perceived value when I am approaching particular thing, and problem solving, and as well as the linguistic intelligence. It's all about how I am going to communicate with the person. So this type of intelligence we are giving to the machine. That is what the main aim of artificial intelligence. Next. Okay. See, AI is a broad discipline that promises to stimulate numerous innate human skills, right? Automatic automatic programming, case-based reasoning, and neural networks, decision making, expert systems, natural language processing, pattern recognition, and speech recognition. These are all the AI-based broad discipline that are helping us to enumerate innate human skills. Then enterprises that utilize AI-enhanced applications are expected to become more diverse, because the need will differ from one organization than the other, so that the AI-enhanced applications are expected to become more diverse. See, they are in need of some multiple variables and fraud detection, particularly for customer relationship management. Right? Customer relationship management, now the human beings are attending the customers for any type of queries or maintaining any type of giving the information. And the artificial intelligence, if we are introducing into that, automatically it will give and will helpful to us to maintain the relationship. And AI in finance and trading. Then previously we discussed how it is helpful in manufacturing. Now in the service industry, particularly in the finance, in the banks use the artificial intelligence system to organize the operations and to invest in the stock and to manage the properties. So the robots are the human stimulate. It is also used to check the customer accounts regularly by various intervals that plays a major role in the business. Next comes. Next slide, please. Next. Okay. So the ability of a system to calculate, reason, perceive relationship, and analyze and learn from experience, store and retrieve the information from the memory, to solve the problem, to comprehend the complex ideas, and to use the natural language frequently, to classify, to generate, and to adapt to new situations. We are using the artificial intelligence system. So we have different types of intelligence like linguistic, musical, logical mathematics, spatial intelligence, kinesthetic, and intrapersonal intelligence. So these are the different types of intelligence. Next. Okay, how we are using the artificial intelligence into our daily life. Home security, bank, post office, websites, and the digital cameras, news and publishing, financial trades, health and medicine, games and toys, where we are using the daily applications. Next. Okay, AI and military, where we are using artificial intelligence in military. Next. Next, please. In the medical field, the robots are becoming more common in the medical field. There are many uses. They are helping the doctors and patients. Okay, they are, so AI is very much helpful in the medical field also. Next. In the household entertainment. So these robots are used for house cleaning, serving, assisting the people, like that. We are using some people are using the AI in the household and the entertainment also. Next. Okay, coming to what is expert system. The expert system are those computer applications that are developed to solve the complex problems in a particular domain at the level of extraordinary human intelligence and expert. So generally expert systems, we are asking some subject experts or experts to give some expert opinion. Likewise, we can ask the system with the inbuilt operations and we will get the opinion to take some further decisions. For that, the characteristics are high performance, understandable, reliable, and highly responsive. Next is, what are the components of expert system? Actually, this expert system are being inbuilt into the intelligence system of the business. Whenever I am introducing any business automation process, I have to make inbuilt into the expert system also, which is the knowledge base, interface engine, as well as the user interface. Next. Next, ma'am. Okay, it's a user-friendly app. So the economic fluctuation has posed many challenges for banking and financial firms, right? Particularly big demand for loan, less profit margin, low interest rate. These are the major problems that the banks are facing now. So to overcome these obstacles, the banking and financial companies need to concentrate on the customer loyalty. So customer is the real asset for any business. So how to improve the loyalty? Many ways. One is about the user-friendly mobile app. So it's somewhat we are introducing the artificial intelligence with the help of a user-friendly app. Okay, next. Not only into the banking industry, but also into the other industries also. Next, in the banking sector, how the artificial intelligence is helpful, that able to handle the advanced queries and functions in the bank, like opening account, KYC registration, processing of the loan, we can do through automation process, and resolving the complex complaint that demand more than just interfacial customer information. That is also possible. Next. So in order to automate the operations, more advanced versions of AI applications are under R&D, and it will arrive soon. That once it is acquired, these applications will be able to offer 24/7 the customer care. Unlike the existing customer care system that either have time deadline or need twice or thrice as much as the existing demand of the executive to work in the shift. So in this regard, AI can empower an organization, particularly banks, to cut the cost and the excess support executives, and this will be helpful to improve the business performance of the banks also. Next. Okay, a voice recognition is again also the conversation. It is possible for AI and the machine learning technology to drive an even deeper and more fundamental shift in the banking. So nowadays, the companies are already making the extensive use of machine learning for their business. So this is also a very important artificial intelligence is about voice recognition and image recognition, that is for biometric identification. Next slide, please. Okay, so it's all about the natural language processing. It bridges the gap between the computers as well as the human, eliminating with the data by asking the questions in the natural languages. As this natural language generation outputs is in is what the idea. Slide, please. Madam, next. Okay, it's about accelerated SaaS and cloud adoption. So now more and more business are seeking to migrate to the they want to include the KI. That is what the need of the day of the business. Next. Artificial intelligence in 2020 and 55% in 2019. So according to this is what the survey they are telling that automation is with automation. Next. Okay. Data analytics scales. Automation is very much essential, very particular in doing our manual nowadays. Actually, this process has been started very early. Working on all because the automation speeds up the business process at all the steps of the data workflow, and it is making it easier for the user to get the answers to their business questions, whatever they are in need. So automation is required, and it is in place in most of the industries. Next. Next slide, please. Of the benefits of automation, right? Automation, not having inbuilt automation, right? So what adding accessible data into the cloud, simple administration and management, greater cost efficiency, lower cost of ownership, and the security provided by the disaster assistance, particularly the data backup is ensured. So next is about the I'm concluding my speech like that. That is, AI is very, very important according to the CEOs of the company. They are telling that the personalization driven by machine learning is very much important because they are believing the machine more than the man. The data interpretation we are getting from the machine is accurate, ram over this, and to take the decisions also. So, next one is about. Next slide, please. Solutions are and make it more accessible to all. Next slide, please. the conclusion. So coming out of the pandemic and in the years to come, the business will be looking into artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and mobile business intelligence as a part of their modem, and the company Okay, any questions? Thank you so much for the nice opportunity given. Hope that I have touched some parts, because being an educationist, I can give some overall idea that what is actually in the business. I can say like that, as we discussed that this is necessary, because now the CEOs and the companies are the keynote address. Thank you.
Who took her ample amount of valuable time from her work schedule to attend the conference. Thank you, ma'am, for making us aware of different types of robots performing the very hard task. Role of robotics in the manufacturing units, from the raw materials till finished products. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation, and I hope really that our wonderful audience has become a spellbound after seeing your presentation. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much
for being here to attend this international conference. Thank you, ma'am. On the behalf of Department of Commerce, I request Kavita ma'am to accept our appreciation certificate.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Here comes your appreciation certificate, ma'am. Moving on next. Moving on to the next, I would like to call this MJ Priya.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I'm so honored. I thank Dr. Sendil Kumar sir for giving me nice opportunity in this excellent international conference. Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations to the Department of Commerce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Now, next, moving on to next, I would like to call this Assistant Professor, Ms. PJ Priya, to introduce our next guest, Mr. Vinod M.
Welcome once again. It's my great honor to introduce Mr. M. Vinod, a well-rounded personality. From Anna University. Passed out his engineering with a honor since 2005. Has a wide exposure in IT industry for past 15 years. Mr. Vinod has been working with the international corporate Nestlé, Switzerland as a project manager since 2009 to analyze and intercontrol of Nestlé product selling international markets all over the world. Nestlé products are most likely by all children worldwide, as everyone knows it. He has been awarded as a Best Outstanding Employee for 3 consecutive years of 2018, 19, and 2020. Auditing is a best practice in a product quality and outcome. He He was from a village in Madurai and elevated to his height only with his knowledge and hard work. A determination to rise up. Indeed, we are very great to have you having you here, sir. You create a great inspiration to us. I hand over the session to you, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. You can hear me. Very much for the introduction, Monica, and thank you, MGR University, for the opportunity. Students are really looking forward for today's session. Yeah. Let me share my screen and then, okay, just bear with me while I bring the screen. And do you see the slides now?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, perfect. So thanks again for the opportunity. Today, I wanted to quickly share my experience on how we in the business side use disruptive technologies. I heard a lot of academic speech before, and it was really fantastic. I'm not in the academic side, but we are on the business side. So we would tell you more of a practical view. So what it means for business like Nestle, for example, what it means AI, robotics, and process automation. So today's, let's say, slides from my side, presentation from my side, is mostly about how we see these technologies in our business. Yeah. And if you were to work for one of these large corporations, I'm sure you will when you pass out, this is how you will perceive these areas as well. So it's really important for you to understand not just the technology, but how to apply the technology. Okay, so to quickly introduce Nestle, so we are a very big company. We employ more than 270,000 employees worldwide. And we are a huge business. We are 83 billion. That's crores and crores of business that we do every year. But if you look at the picture in 1800s, we were like that. We were a very small factory by a small riverside. But today we are a large business with offices pretty much in every country. Certainly, we cannot go from there to here without innovation and technology. So that's what we will talk about. Hello. Can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we wanted to talk about technology. So these are technologies that we call disruptive technologies. This is a keyword that you really need to understand as students. These are technologies that come in and they completely disrupt our business, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. For example, chatbots. We don't anymore do customer service by people sitting and taking telephone. It's very, very limited. We are now using chatbots, even internally. When one of the lawyer would like to understand if there is a non-disclosure agreement, he's most of the time chatting with a chatbot. And this changes a lot of business practices. Yeah, we don't have any more departments that used to exist. People who used to do a certain job 10 years ago don't do that anymore. They are now working behind the chatbots. So that's why it's called disruptive technology. And here I've highlighted some of the disruptive technologies that we had been through. For example, chatbots. We don't use any more fraud detectors. We don't hire those people anymore. We use fraud detection tools. And these fraud detection tools train themselves. So every time you hand over a fraudulent case to the machine will pick up new cases like that. It trains itself. It's an amazing investment that we have done in this area. And we see a lot of benefits. We are using a lot of artificial intelligence. You will hear this term more and more, but I will tell you in the subsequent slides why and how artificial intelligence is important and how we are applying them. There are new areas like descriptive analytics. Before we used to build reports. Now we ask the system for a report. We simply say, show me the sales in 2020. And the system understands what we are saying, and it basically brings the report. Another keyword is the business process automation. You will hear about automation a lot. Automation is really eliminating manual work wherever possible. It's as simple as that. We try to look into our, let's say, business process. And when someone does something very manual, we replace it with a bot. We replace it by a program. And this is also a disruptive area for us. Factory environment, it's not just software and programming, automation is also in our factories. Recently, we went to a factory which was very big, but hardly you see people inside. Everything is run by robots, everything is run by programs. There are just few people controlling the outcomes in different places. If you would have to work in a large company, you will find this will be your portfolio. This is how the business will operate. And you must have a very good understanding of them so that you can grow in this environment. Yeah. How we are leveraging it from the business side. We are a large business. We sell chocolates, milk products, biscuits, cookies, Maggie. I'm sure every one of you would have had a Nestle product at some point in time. But how are we internally managing our business with technology? Imagine running a company that is 8 lakh crores every year of sales. We have to control this business. Fraud is possible. Mismanagement of the numbers is possible. And if someone makes a little fraud, it comes in the news, the value of our company will drop significantly. How do we ensure that our business has full integrity? Hello? I think there is a little interference.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
so yeah, let me continue. So we leverage these technologies. We have programs that do financial checks and they run every month. They scan billions of records every month and they highlight the ones they think are suspicious. And sometimes they are real cases, sometimes not. And there are people behind who check every cases. And then we combine machine power and manpower together. But the machine does a lot of work and the man does the remaining smart work, let's say. We also have robotics, analytics, and automation in the area of audits. In the area of legal, chatbots, like I said, help our lawyers find relevant documents. We generate so much documents every day. A lawyer sitting in Germany needs to have a document generated in India 10 years ago. It's not possible to manually search. But the chatbot helped them. They asked them, what document are you looking for? A case like that was done in India 10 years ago. So it scans all the archives, finds matching keywords, applies some fuzzy algorithm, brings a case that was done 10 years ago in India where Nestle won. And we give that input to the lawyers in Germany. And that saves so much money because lawyers are expensive. Also, a case is expensive, a litigation is expensive. So this is how we practically apply. We are even adopting new technology like WhatsApp. There's WhatsApp Business. When someone makes a purchase order with Nestle, they want to know where is their purchase order. They can send a message and then they will receive a response directly in WhatsApp. They can chat directly in WhatsApp. They are not chatting with a person. They are chatting with a program. We call it chatbot, but the chatbot is smart enough to engage the user. Yeah. Okay. You might wonder, we are commerce students. How is it relevant for me? Why should I care about this? Isn't it just technology? Isn't it just computer science or electronics? Actually, no. It's as much as you use your phone every day. You are becoming very well with your Android phone. Technology is exactly like that. It's just a tool. And without the smartness of let's say the students who have commerce, business analysts, and experts, the technology would not be that much useful. So wherever you go, in whatever sector you go, be it asset management, finance, healthcare, insurance, even legal, whether you're going to join a manufacturing company as a manager of the factory or a cost controller, doesn't matter, you would come across these use cases. You would come across technology, you would come across chatbots, you would come across robotics. You'll be asked to implement robotics. You'll be asked to implement automation. That will be your task. And 70% of the companies are exploring process automation. They want to reduce manual work. They want the computers to do it. They want the humans to do the smart work. And the hard work, they want to leave to the computers. So in whatever position you are going to work, you can easily expect to be tasked with one of these items. It will be business process automation. Let's leverage technology. Our success as a company depends on using technology. We have to actively look outside. If we can do the same job using computers, automation, and save money, use the people for something else good, we will win in the marketplace. Otherwise, we will go out of business. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Why is it relevant for you? Please keep in mind, all our solutions are designed by business experts, people who have the experience. Many, or let's say many of them, most often they have commerce background, they have economics background, they have an MBA, they come from an accounting sector. They are the experts who design our processes. The technology is just for the implementation part, is only the programming part. So don't get amazed by just the technology part. All our solutions are done by business analysts. Without their expertise, the technology would be useless. We wouldn't know what to even automate. So in our teams, we have a 50-50 participation of technologists, but also people from the function, people from the accounting function, people from the cost management function, people from the legal function. It's only together we can make automation. Automation is not just you buy a chip and it works by itself. Certainly no. So please, as you are the business experts here, please learn to embrace technology. Learn about these new things, because that will be part of your life. That will be part of your professional, let's say, life. So learn about them, embrace them, accept them, and be knowledgeable about them, because in your workplace, you are going to need it. Yeah. So I wouldn't make the presentation too big. Certainly anyone interested can write to us, and we can have follow-up sessions. I'm in the area of audit, internal control, and like I said, we are applying technology in this area. Anyone would like to know more, anyone interested to pilot or experiment, learn from us, feel free to write back to me, and I will certainly help you out. And I really see that as a privilege to help students like yourself. Yeah. Thank you very much. And over to you, team.
Thank you, Mr. Vinod, for sharing such a valuable knowledge on the artificial intelligence, especially of the artificial intelligence. And also you have shared that the Nestle, the biggest company, actually how it is managing their business with the help of technology. You also shared that how the legal experts are taking the help of chatbots for making the things done. Thank you, sir, for sharing your very much prized knowledge in this field of artificial intelligence and the robotics. Thank you, sir. On the behalf of department, I request Mr. Vinod to accept the appreciation certificate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Meena, Dr. Sendil Kumar, for inviting also for the event. Yes, looking forward for your events in the future as well. Please do invite me. I'd like to listen in. I was really impressed by what was shown before with the robots. Yeah.
Sure,
thank you very much.
Sure,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to the next, I would like to call Assistant Professor Ms. Radha to
Good afternoon to one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure.
Radha ma'am, please wait. Radha ma'am, please wait. Please hold on.
Radha ma'am, just wait for a moment.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome
Radha ma'am.
Yes,
Radha ma'am. Radha ma'am, just hold on. We will be intimating you. The guest is about to join, so please hold on. Right? We will inform you.
Okay.
Participants, please hold on. The guest is about to join. We have few technical issues. Just hold on for a second. We'll be back.
Okay.
I would like to call Assistant Professor Radha to give an introduction about Dr. Rohini Bhatt. Radha ma'am, over to you.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome one of our chief guests, Dr. Rohini Bhatt, currently working as an assistant
present here and all the that the shares screen sharing for my presentation. Yes, is my screen visible? Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So, good afternoon to all the participants here. The conference for today is the International Conference on Artificial Intelligence, and for which I have prepared a presentation on the topic of responsible AI. Till now, I'm sure you all must have known what is AI, what is artificial intelligence. It helps us to do a lot of our daily activities, our human tasks. It is, taking all the human tasks away from us slowly and gradually, and helping us rather in the positive manner. But when we are doing this, when we are, offloading our own human tasks and giving those responsibilities to machines, that has to be done in a very responsible manner. And hence the topic for today, which is responsible AI. So before we go to that, yeah. So if we talk about AI, what is AI? Artificial intelligence is something that leverages the computers and the machines to mimic the problem solving and the decision making capabilities of the human mind. The human mind is capable of taking decisions, it is capable of solving problems, and that is what we are feeding into the machines as to the different types of situations and the problems that can arise, and how decision making is to be done, and how that decision making is shifted from the human mind to the computers and to the machines. This artificial intelligence is a constellation of many different technologies like the machine learning, the deep learning, the NLP, that is the language programming. And together, these will help us, help the machines rather, to sense, to comprehend, to act, and to learn with human-like level of intelligence. So basically, we are putting this human brain into the machines who will, on behalf of the humans, take the decisions. So a lot of automation that we see in artificial intelligence. Worldwide, we have seen many new innovations that are coming up with artificial intelligence. So if we talk about artificial intelligence, there are various types it is divided into. I have just taken two of the types here, which are the most visible and the most commonly used, which is the narrow or the weak artificial intelligence and the general or the strong artificial intelligence. So the narrow or the weak AI performs single tasks, not very complex in nature, or just a set of closely related tasks. Like we get notifications on our mobile phones regarding the weather, so the apps, weather apps, or there are certain digital assistants which will help you solve very basic problems, or softwares that will analyze a given business function. That is the most basic form of AI that we are talking about. Then we go to the general or the strong AI, which is a little more complex, like you see in the sci-fi films that are there. Usually Hollywood films are all about sci-fi films, and they emulate, like the machines, they emulate the human intelligence. They make them think strategically, act strategically and creatively, and they are able to handle a lot of complex issues and activities with the help of machines. So basically, AI is an extension of human capabilities. It is not a replacement for sure. And that is something, whenever we talk about artificial intelligence, I've seen people are very skeptical and they're scared, that machines are going to take away our jobs, and they are going to become much smarter than us. To which partly I will agree and partly I won't, because they are going to get smarter, definitely, but they're going to replace humans, not at all, because jobs only, the nature of jobs will shift. Humans will not be replaced. Then it is upon humans how we evolve with the given technology. So these were the basic forms of artificial intelligence. Now, in our daily lives, we make a lot of use of AI. And the most basic one that is shown here is the Alexa. I'm sure most of you have experienced this in your houses, where you're shouting from one room to the other for the Alexa, giving instructions to start the music, to play the music, or to set the alarm, and various other activities. So that is the very basic form of artificial intelligence we are talking about. Other things where artificial intelligence that we use is, self-driven cars, self-driven vehicles, buses, public transport systems, the chatbots that are there in our mobile phones when we are using certain applications. Say you go for online shopping, and whatever problems you have, there is a message that you will receive from an assistant, where you feel that is a human talking to you, and it is asking you for if you're facing any problems or you want any suggestions. And you chat with that, thinking that it is a person on the opposite side. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. I guess I'll have to share the screen again. Yeah, is it visible? Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So we were talking about the drones. They are also a form of artificial intelligence, which Zomato, Swiggy, and all these service providers are very well going to make use of for delivery of parcels. Other than that, in our daily life, we also get a lot of whenever we open any kind of social media platforms or even the internet for basic activities, we get recommendations, we get new ads which pop up on our screen. So those pop-ups are also a result of artificial intelligence. So that is how deeply penetrated artificial intelligence is into our daily lives, which we don't sometimes realize also. The recommendations which you get when you are using YouTube or when you are going through your social media feeds, they are all inspired by artificial intelligence. The more of some topic that you're researching on, some topic that you are searching about, you're talking about, you will often see that those topics usually pop up in and around your screens in the form of either ads or recommendations. So that is also one form of artificial intelligence. So why does AI matter? What is its importance? Of course, it is very important. It is the future. In fact, it is not the future, it is the present lives that we are living in. It is so important. But it is also important to the businesses that are there running the entire commercial space. For them, it is a potential source of business innovation. A lot of innovation is happening worldwide in terms of how they can monetize their business through the utilization, more and more utilization of artificial intelligence. There is consistency, there is speed, and there is scalability to business processes. It helps you to automate a lot of your business processes and thereby making more efficient practices and more efficient usage of your resources in business. It gives an access to an unprecedented amount of data. You see, we are in an economy where data is the new oil. And so much of data being generated everywhere. We become helpless without our mobile phones and our laptops. And the amount of data that these mobile phones and laptops and Instagrams and Facebooks, they are all providing for processing of artificial intelligence is something which is only going to compound in the future. So with so much of unprecedented amount of data, AI is going to become very important because it is going to take decisions based on the data fed to it. There is near real-time analysis of new information, and accordingly decisions are made with very precision level of accuracy. So that is one thing which is very beneficial to the business operators worldwide. Everyone wants to, have a part of the cake. In fact, rather want to have the entire cake. So that is how it will help the businesses to stay ahead of its competitors. It drives innovation and competitive advantage. A lot of innovation. A lot of user-friendly innovation can be done, and because of which the competition will be, the companies can rather have a very good competitive advantage if they make more and better use of artificial intelligence and make it very user-friendly for the consumers. There is optimum resource utilization resulting in significant cost reduction. With all these AI and all these points that we saw, all the resources in terms of time, effort, and money will be put to optimum utilization, and that will lead to heavy cost reduction. And that is how AI is very, very beneficial to the businesses. When we talk about AI, what is it that we talk about? We talk about autonomy, how things are getting autonomous, things are getting automated. There is freedom to take the decision by the machines on behalf of humans. So that is something that we talk about when we think of AI. There is decision making. There are various algorithms which are set. If you see the world of financial markets, there are so many apps and so many softwares which are developed based on algorithms for trading, the algo trading. And you don't have to do anything except for the initial transaction, and you are making good amount of money with that. So that is also a form of AI. There are robots who are working in the industries, who are a part of the manufacturing process, who are also part of the service industry. There is data, a lot of data handling being done, a lot of learning, machine learning happening. So when we talk about all these things, so are we, it is, a real dilemma that is it going to be a better world for all of us, or is it going to be the end of the world for all of us? There is always that fear and that greed, which is always, going on in our minds. Is it going to be good for all of us, or is it going to be bad for all of us? So these are all very common thought processes that a person comes across when we talk about artificial intelligence. Now, AI systems, they act autonomously in our world. Once programmed, machines keep on learning throughout, and that is why there is a lot of autonomy in the world of AI. Eventually, AI systems will make better decisions than humans, because when we are saying that machines are learning constantly through whatever data is being fed to them, and through all the algorithms that are set into the system. So eventually, we feel that they will become better and better, and they will, our lives are going to get easier and easier through their better decision making. It is designed, it is an artifact. So a lot of people working to build AI, and all that is, going to be governing the way the world functions. We need to ensure that the purpose that we put into this making of this AI, that the purpose which we really want, it fulfills that purpose. And that is why we're talking about responsible AI. We do not want the purpose to be diluted. We do not want the purpose to overrun and destroy human lives. And that is why we talk about responsible AI. Now, one thought, like I told you, the fear of AI is always there. Will it take over everything? Will there be so high level of automation that humans will almost become redundant, useless? They will be demotivated to work because machines are doing everything. So we talk about why responsible AI. We're talking about self-driven cars. So if these self-driven cars meet with an accident, who is to be held responsible? Is it the person or the company who made the car? Or is it the person who designed the AI software? Or is it the authorities which allowed these cars to run? They gave the permission to run these cars on the streets? Or is it we, the owners? So this is the biggest question that responsible AI has to answer. Can the car decide in the face of a moral dilemma, like how humans decide? Has it reached that level of intelligence? If we talk about automated manufacturing, where robots are part of the manufacturing facility, are they going to help to develop some sophisticated skills in the human resources which are going to be replaced because of the robots? Or if we take the example of chatbots, we are always mistaken with the identity, whether it is a person or a bot that we are speaking to. And there is manipulation of emotions, there is nudging to affect our buying behavior. So is that really what we want? Or how are these problems going to be solved? That is what responsible AI has to answer. And that is why we see this buzzword among international agencies, where everyone is now working towards making rules and regulations, codes of conduct for how we can make AI responsible. If we see this data that by 2025, we will have 5 times more devices than humans, and imagine the level of technology that will be pervasive and indispensable for humans to use. How will you govern that technology? We have so many data breaches that are happening worldwide, not only in individuals, devices, but even organizational devices, and even government data is being tampered or is being extracted. So in such situations, AI becomes, the need for AI is to become very responsible. Even today's children are the first generation who are going to come and, going to be introduced to the AI-driven digital technologies. So how do we make it safe for these children? These are all questions which responsible AI has to answer. So let us take a relook at what is AI. It is not just an algorithm. Algorithm is only the recipe of how you are going to create the AI, right? The result is more important. It is not just machine learning or deep learning. It is about current issues, the pattern recognition, the intelligence, which is more important. It is not just about data handling, data mining, and analyzing data, because big data is a big headache in terms of governance, in terms of sustainability for governments across the world. And if that big data is not handled in the responsible manner, then this artificial intelligence is of no use to us. So responsible AI demands much more than just an algorithm, just a machine learning, and just data handling. taking responsibility for AI in terms of design, ensuring that the development processes take into account ethical and social implications, which are going to affect the decision making done by these machines. By design, integration of ethical reasoning abilities to manage these artificial autonomous systems. And for the designers, there should be the designer who is designing the artificial intelligence should have a lot of integrity amongst themselves, so that the same is transformed to the machines who are going to do who are going to perform the tasks for the humans. So a lot of responsibility has to be transferred into the machines by the people, by the stakeholders who are responsible in developing all these machines. Now, what are these principles for responsible AI? If you see, this is the most common thing about artificial intelligence. It is autonomous. It does a lot of interaction for and on behalf of humans, and it is very adaptable. The more data it is fed with, the more adaptable it will become, the more it will learn. But with all these benefits that we have of AI, all these have to function within a very responsible framework, and that framework is what we are talking about here as principles of responsible AI, which is art, which is an art. If you say art, it is accountability, responsibility, and transparency. These three are going to drive responsible AI. Accountability, giving explanation, giving justification for all that you are feeding into these computers, into these microprocessors, into these softwares. Responsibility, if anything goes wrong, if the chain of responsible actors, you have to define the chain of responsible actors. If anything goes wrong, who will be responsible, right? Third is transparency. When there is so much of data being handled and processed, then there has to be a lot of transparency of how these decisions are being made by AI. And it is like we already discussed, it is not just about algorithms, because algorithms can also be wrong. They can also, there are humans who are making these algorithms, and there can be errors in those. And so it is the responsibility of the stakeholders who are designing these artificial intelligence products that they maintain transparency while rolling out such artificial intelligence technology. Ethics in design. When we talk about ethics in design, there is taking an ethical perspective, because ethics is the new green in AI. When we talk about green, we are talking about sustainability. We are talking about CSR. We are talking about ESG for all the businesses. Same way when in AI, in artificial intelligence, this green is substituted by ethics, because ethics is what is going to make just an AI into a responsible AI. It will involve a lot of certification to ensure public acceptance. There will be principles and rules which are going to drive this transformation. So it is going to be a very big role which even the regulators have to play worldwide in designing the right set of rules and regulations, so that all the AI systems which are being developed are doing so with a sense of responsibility, with a sense of providing better solutions and a good ROI for the manufacturers of AI. So it's going to be a design for all, where the focus will be on inclusion of all stakeholders. The diversity of all the stakeholders has to be kept in mind, and there has to be a dialogue so that we are using these machines, we are using this artificial intelligence in favor of mankind and not against mankind. There are concerns of safety of humans. There are concerns of replacing humans with machines. There are concerns of awareness, raising awareness, how deeply penetrated AI is into our daily lives. There are concerns and very high concerns of privacy around AI. And all this obviously sums up to human dignity, which is the biggest concern for AI. So these concerns are very important to be answered if we talk about responsible AI, and which is obviously going to be a part of the governance, the rules and regulations that are set up by the various governments worldwide. So we have to have an AI which is the optimal, which is also responsible, which is AI for the good of all and good done by all. So all the stakeholders who are involved will be responsible for bringing a good AI-driven technology into the market. Now, there are ethics for the designers. The designers have to make sure that they follow the regulations which are framed. They follow the code of conduct, which they also have to make a code of conduct for themselves as to how they are going to function with these artificial intelligence. The mission, vision, values, the standards, all of these have to be clearly defined whenever any AI product is being rolled out in the market. There has to be compliance, there has to be mitigation of risk and responsible marketing as well. There are many professional groups which have this set of code of conducts and regulations in place. If we talk about the pharmacy industry, the accountancy industry, the military, the architects, they all have these code of conducts which they follow. And similarly, there are various organizations which are working worldwide for developing a proper code of conduct for responsible AI. So here is you can see the high-level expert groups who are working on the code of conduct. Few of them being OECD, the European Union, being assisted by private organizations like Accenture, PwC. So these are all worldwide names. And in India too, recently, the government of India has started talking and has started creating a dialogue around responsible AI, where there was a first international conference by the name of RAISE 2020, which talked about responsible AI for social empowerment, which was held in the month of October 2020 in New Delhi, and where all the industry experts, the academicians, the government, and various stakeholders gathered so that code of conduct and rules and regulations for responsible AI were discussed, and that would pave the way further for a good industry in terms of artificial intelligence. So AI systems must be designed and managed in a responsible manner, for which whenever the designers are designing an AI system, they should keep a few points in mind. The first one being that it should be socially beneficial. AI should be socially beneficial. It should help solve social problems and issues which are being faced by every government in the world, especially that of climate change. There are drones and there are various other artificial intelligence systems devised to monitor the climate change. And that is how socially we should devise the artificial intelligence technology in a way which will be socially beneficial. We should avoid creating and reinforcing unfair bias. Many a times we see there is unfair bias because the designing of the artificial intelligence systems is such, and that is a thing to be controlled at the time of designing of these systems. So the designers have a big responsibility where they should avoid any unfair bias and reinforce very strong ethical and social values into when they're framing the artificial intelligence systems. It should be built and tested for safety before it is rolled out in the market. There was recently a case where a smart bus, which was introduced by a very big manufacturer, international manufacturer, was called back because it met with an accident on the first day. So before introducing such, self-driven cars and self-driven vehicles onto the roads, it should be very well tested because after all, it is going to affect human lives. People should be accountable. And not only people, even when we say that the machine is taking the decisions, so a machine does not have the basic consciousness of taking the decisions, and hence decision making and the conscious decision making somewhere or the other is the responsibility of the people designing them. So people also have to take responsibility of designing